How you doing, everybody, and welcome to ESPNMilwaukee.com and ESPNMadison.com's coverage of the NFL meetings here in rainy Orlando. Things getting started here a little bit on Sunday as all the NFL coaches and GMs are milling about the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here, but things really don't kick off until tomorrow when the Commissioner, Roger Goodell, addresses us and the meetings start to really heat up. As you know, the biggest issue in terms of competition committee related things, looking into changing overtime, and there are reports today that the competition committee has voted 8-0, so unanimous, that they should change overtime to allow teams to get the ball back if the first team that wins the coin toss kicks a field goal to take the lead. So it would alter the way the setup is currently for sudden death overtime. Now, there were some reports that that vote was initially 6-2, and now I think they're putting up the united front, but they still have to get teams to vote. 24 out of 32 teams have to vote in favor of the change for the change to go through. Talked to a couple of people related to the Packers, and the Packers haven't decided which way they're going to vote at this point, at least according to those people. To me, obviously the biggest story, though, that's facing the NFL right now is the collective bargaining agreement and the uncertainty for the future and the potential lockout in 2011. There was a report during the week that Ed Gorin from Fox Sports had spoken at a conference and talked about how he doesn't expect the deal to get done until August of 2011. I don't know if that'll turn out to be the case. It does sound like that's the kind of deadline spur action type of situation. But I do know this. One major player in the negotiations between the NFL Players Association and the owners is going to be Packers president Mark Murphy. And that's because he has a unique perspective. Not only has he been on the players' side of the bargaining table, having done that as a player, as he was a safety with the Washington Redskins back in the 80s, but he's also with a team that has two sides of that equation, where the Packers are the smallest market by far, but at the same time, they're one of the biggest revenue-generating teams. And so they've got an interesting perspective, and we'll write a little bit about that later this afternoon on ESPNMilwaukee.com and ESPNMadison.com. The other thing interesting about the Packers is, as the only publicly owned franchise, their books are open. The other 31 teams are not, and so their statistical information, their profit margins, their costs, everything like that, that's going to be front and center as we go through this, because as we know, the NFL Players Association wants to look at all the teams' books. Right now, they only have access to one. That's it from here for now. We've got plenty more coming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Remember, Wednesday is the big day that the NFC coaches do their morning breakfast where they meet with the media. We'll talk to Mike McCarthy there. We've got that special edition of Green and Gold Today, the nighttime edition on Tuesday night. So make sure you tune in for that, either on the web or over the air on 540 ESPN and 100.5 FM ESPN in Madison. And don't forget to always submit your questions for Wildy's mailbox. If you want to ask a question, you can either send it via email at jwildy@espnwisconsin.com, or if you can do it in 140 characters or less, you can do it via Twitter. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.